Cheerio versus Puppeteer. One boots a full Chrome browser, the other reads raw HTML. Reach for the wrong one and you're either paying 150 megabytes of RAM per request of static content or getting empty arrays on pages Cheerio can never see. Here's how to choose the right one before you start. Here's the rule. If the data is in the raw HTML, use Cheerio. If JavaScript renders it after the page loads, use Puppeteer. But knowing the rule isn't enough. You need to know how to apply it to any target before you write a single line. Right-click, View Source. If the data is there, use Cheerio. If it isn't, use Puppeteer. That single check saves you from building the wrong scraper entirely. Easy to say, harder to apply if you don't know what each tool actually does under the hood. So let's compare what each one can do, where it breaks down, and what it costs at scale. Memory per instance. Cheerio runs on 20 megabytes. Puppeteer needs 150 to 300 megabytes. At 50 concurrent instances, that's 1 gigabyte versus 7 to 15 gigabytes. That gap is why tool selection is also an infrastructure decision. Pages per second. Cheerio processes hundreds of pages per second. Puppeteer manages 2 to 5. At scale, that's the difference between one server and 20. JavaScript rendering. Unlike Puppeteer, Cheerio can't render JavaScript. If your data isn't in the raw HTML, it can't see it. CSS selectors. Both tools support CSS selectors, so if you're switching from one to the other, your selectors carry over. XPath support. Cheerio has no native XPath. If your existing workflow depends on XPath queries, you'll need to rewrite your selectors or add a separate parser. Login and sessions. Cheerio has no session handling. Anything behind a login wall needs Puppeteer. Anti-bot evasion. Plain Puppeteer is detectable without stealth plugins. Cheerio sends basic HTTP requests, so it has a simpler fingerprint and is easier to keep clean. So when should you use Cheerio and when does Puppeteer make more sense? If view source has your data, Cheerio is the right call. It's fast, lightweight, and doesn't need a browser to do the job. Use Cheerio for high-volume crawls where memory and speed are the constraint, structured data extraction from server-rendered pages, pipelines where you don't need browser behavior or session handling. But if view source comes back empty on the data you need, you're dealing with JavaScript-rendered content. That's when you need Puppeteer. Built for JavaScript web scraping, it runs a real browser, waits for the page to finish executing, and gives you the DOM as the user would see it. That makes Puppeteer great for SPAs and React or Vue frontends where the content is injected after load. Anything behind a login wall that requires session handling and authentication. Pages that need interaction before data appears, clicking, scrolling, waiting on network calls. But shipping Puppeteer to production without these two changes is where most scrapers start falling over. Number 1. Resource blocking. Use this to abort images, style sheets, and fonts. Your scraper doesn't need any of them, so this single change cuts load time and memory usage by 50 to 70%. Number 2. Stealth configuration. Out of the box, Puppeteer is detectable. TLS fingerprinting, navigator properties, and headless signals are readable by any serious bot detection layer. This patches the most common detection signals, skip it, and you'll get flagged regardless of anything else you've configured. One more thing before you ship Puppeteer to production: memory leaks. Puppeteer scrapers that run for hours will leak memory if you don't clean up after each job. The fix is to perform an explicit cleanup after every page. Every page you open costs memory, so open only what you need, one at a time, and close it explicitly after every job. Otherwise, memory climbs with every request and the process eventually crashes. In long-running production jobs, restart browser instances on schedule. Every few hundred requests is a reasonable baseline. If memory keeps climbing in a straight line, you likely have an open page or browser context somewhere. But sometimes you need both Cheerio and Puppeteer. Puppeteer handles authentication and renders the page, while Cheerio parses the resulting HTML. That gives you browser power where you need it and raw speed where you don't. And if you're building anything beyond a one-off script, it may be worth looking at crawling. It brings both tools together under one API with built-in retries, session management, and request queues. Playwright is also worth considering as a modern alternative to Puppeteer in 2026. It offers broader browser support, an active development roadmap, and a very similar API. No matter which scraping tool you use, the proxy layer is what stands between your scraper and a block. Cheerio pairs with data center proxies. They're fast, low latency, and ideal for high volume scraping of static pages. Since Cheerio makes simple HTTP requests and doesn't execute JavaScript or simulate a browser, there's no browser fingerprint involved, and that means data center IPs are usually enough. Puppeteer pairs with residential proxies. A headless browser mimicking real user behavior needs an IP that matches. Since residential proxies rotate through real device IPs, the fingerprint and the IP tell the same story. So a quick recap. Right-click, view source. If the data is in HTML, use Cheerio. If it isn't, use Puppeteer. Tune for production. Block resource and add stealth before you ship Puppeteer. Match the proxy. Data center for high volume static scraping with Cheerio, residential for dynamic scraping with Puppeteer. Before you run your scraper, check robots.txt. Review the site's terms of service and make sure you have a legal basis for any personal data you're collecting. Scraping at scale puts you in a gray area fast, so make sure you're on the right side of it. If you need responsibly sourced residential or data center proxies for your scraping stack, contact our team at IPRoyal. We'll help you design the right setup for your tool and your target.